Back in the last years of the last century, there was a really very important German anthropologist, Adolf Bastian, B-A-S-T-I-A-N, who recognized that wherever he went in the world, the same motifs were recurring over and over again. And he called these recurrent themes elementary ideas, Elementargedanken. But of course they appear in different costumes and with different references and different applications in the various provinces and times of man's life. And these local inflections he called ethnic ideas or folk ideas, Völkergedanken. This is a very important point to get clear in the beginning. This leads actually to two quite contrary sides of our subject. The matter of the historical differentiations and transformations is the material of the historian and the anthropologist and ethnologist. How are these inflections to be interpreted and understood? And what is their significance and force? The other side of the subject is primarily a psychological one. What is the ground that supports these continually recurrent motifs? Why are they everywhere? Why do people hang on to them? Where do they come from? Now, on this side, we have a psychological accent. And Jung, I think, who picked up Bastian's idea of the elementary idea and terms it the archetypes of the unconscious, Jung goes further than any in his accent on the spontaneous production of these forms, what is called independent parallel development. If you find a myth over here with this system of forms in it and a myth over here, there is no need to connect them historically. And so this is an argument problem. How far can one go in speaking about parallel development? Now, I was interested some years ago in finding in the writings of Ananda K. Coomaraswamy, who is a really very important student of mythology, one of the most important of the last generation, that in India these two aspects are recognized as well. The elementary idea and the folk idea. The folk idea is called Deshi, D-E-S, S with a stroke, the same S you have in Shiva. And Deshi means provincial, local. The name, however, for the elementary idea is extremely instructive. It is Marga, M-A-R-G-A, the first A long. And that means trail, the trail of an animal that you follow. The source of mythological images is the imagination, the human imagination. The base of the human imagination is the human body and its nervous systems and glands and all of this. Every organ in the body has an impulse to action, and the context and conflict of these action sources is what constitutes our psychological problems. The imagery of myth comes from that source, and the reference of myth is back to that source. And so the elementary ideas, the marga, they constitute the path that carries you back to the deepest sources within yourself that are the common heritage of humanity. Therefore, in all mythological systems, there are these two aspects. There is the general and the local and specific. Now, the local is local not only to the society, but to each individual. That is to say, each individual has his own deshi, his own local field of experience. And these mythic forms come to him through his own basic experiences. And here's a little problem. If your personal experiences do not correspond to the experiences implicit in the local forms of your deshi mythology, you're in conflict not only with the group, but with your whole inward life. We don't know who, what, or even how to talk about these things. They are transcendent of all concepts. This is a basic point. The ultimate source of our life, and it is a source, and it's a continually self-replenishing source, is the miracle of our being here at all. Now this transcendent source, of which we become aware through the impulses and so forth of the nature that's given us, is the ground, the living ground of all our experiencing and acting and finally knowing. But then over that, we have this brain here, which I heard called the other day a tumor of the nervous system, which regards the world through the eyes and the senses and experiences the outer phenomenal appearances of things and links to those, not knowing where the source of those things is either, which is the same source, of course, of oneself. And becoming attached to this phenomenon, that other one, and hoping we can stay attached so that we're afraid of death and all that sort of thing. This leads our conscious system off-center, so that it doesn't reflect in its intentions the impulse system underneath.